All right, time to wake up with attacking third co-host Lisa Roman. And Lisa, great to be with you once again. When we take a look at the United States women's national team, what continues to stand out to you about that final?
Tommy, when you look at this tournament and specifically the final, it's that these young players that head coach Vlatko Andonovski brought in, they can compete. They can be put up to the challenge. They can have to unlock opponents and defensively break them down. You look at the roster and the caps that so many of these players had, whether it's Sophia Smith, goalkeeper Casey Murphy, Trinity Rodman at just 20 years old, Ashley Sanchez, 23 years old. These players were earning just their 13th, 14th, 15th cap in this tournament, and yet they still competed. He asked them questions. Can they figure things out on the fly in the game? And they sure did, especially someone like Sophia Smith. Something else I learned about this team throughout this tournament, and especially in this final match, is that the United States has so much depth and so much talent. This was an opportunity for Vlatko Andonovski to really expand his player pool, and he did just that. 12 players making their Concacaf qualifying debut. We saw someone like Taylor Korniak come into this tournament with just 2 caps on it. A rookie in the NWSL, Sam Coffey, also get called into it. The talent is there, and there's a lot of it. It's just now a matter of, can we develop that moving forward?
All right, so you laid that out. You gave us some names, some of them which a lot of soccer fans learned throughout this tournament. So if I were to ask you to give us a grade, transition from the old guard to the youth movement, what grade would that be?
Tommy, this was a tall task for me. I had to get out my red pen. I really had to think about this because just like in school, the U.S. started with a 100%, a straight A+ heading into this tournament. Now, there's going to be a little bit of drop off just due to lack of experience. So I'm giving the United States a B+ at the end of this one. They started with a checklist of what they wanted to accomplish: win their group in the qualifying stages, qualify for the Women's World Cup, keep clean sheets and shutouts throughout this tournament, and then ultimately qualify for the Olympics in 2024. And they did all of that. And when you look at so many of these young players, Emily Fox, Mallory Pugh, Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, truly stepping up, it's so important to see. But you also have to remember that there are a number of U.S. veteran players that suffered injuries heading into this tournament. Katarina Macario, Kristen Press, Sam Mewis, Lynn Williams. But the fact that these young players were able to qualify for the World Cup, qualify for the Olympics, and win the W Championship, it's pretty impressive to see from all these young folks. So I'm sticking with a B+ for this squad.
All right, B+ for the squad. So then if we go macro from what we saw in this W Championship Concacaf style, and then we go USA ranking #1 in the world, but how much of a gap is there between the other top teams, let's say Sweden, France, and Germany here?
There is a gap right now. We're so lucky because the Concacaf W Championship was happening at the same time as the Euros, as Copa America. And when you watch this, I mean, even looking at these standings, yes, the U.S. is #1, but a team like Germany, who is just plowing through the Euros right now, 9 goals for, 0 goals against. Defensively, this German side is so organized and structured. They can play fast, hard. Against Spain, they can also change their structure, working on shutting down intricate footwork in the midfield. A team like England, they're 14 goals for throughout the Euros. They're hosting this, and they're just dominating in possession. It's going to be very different what the United States played against throughout CONCACAF, and the styles of their opponents and the soccer that they were putting out on the pitch is incredibly different than looking at the European side, like Sweden, France, Netherlands, Germany. We just saw them play Canada last night and get that win on a solo penalty kick, but the gap is there. Even the United States head coach Vlatko Andonovski said, we're here to win this Concacaf W Championship tournament. However, the World Cup, we're not quite ready for that yet. Luckily, the U.S. has an entire year to prepare for that, get these younger players more caps, more minutes, and more rhythm, just consistency playing together.
And coming off a high of winning that championship in Mexico. Lisa Roman joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. Lisa, thank you again. By the way, U.S. Soccer recently announcing that the women's team going to play a couple of friendlies coming up against Nigeria in Kansas City and Washington, D.C. in September. The Attacking Third podcast, Lisa and co-host Sandra Herrera talking about the Concacaf W Championship match, and they break down the starting lineups for both teams, what to look out for. It is all things that you need on the Attacking Third.